And we welcome you, Rattler fans. You're looking live inside the Rattlers tour bus, where they will be taking their talents to Wichita Falls, Texas, to take on Midwestern State in the NCAA tournament. Chad Peters, David Tovar on board, and we're going to have a lot of cameo appearances, as you can already tell. And by that, I mean a lot of people walk in, and we're going to try to get out of people's ways. But
Preston, come on through, man.
Come on down. The next contestant on Rattlers Price is Right. But Rattler fans, huge tournament. That was last week. The Heartland Conference champions on the bus right now. And Chad, what a tournament it was. They defeated Newman in the first round. That's on Friday night. Then they defeated UA Fort Smith in the final. A very tired UA Fort Smith, but a competitive team nonetheless. The Rattlers, a statement victory, a 14-point win, and all on the back of Kevin Kotzer, Moses Sandufu, Lam Autry, Daryl Taylor, and the stars of the Rattlers.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Kevin Kotzer was the tournament MVP, but he did it with a lot of help. Moses Sandufu making it rain from three-point land. Lam Autry coming up huge, somehow left off the all-tournament team.
Yeah.
Him and Sandufu, 19 points apiece in the final. Daryl Taylor was huge with his three-point range. One of the standout plays, though, to me, Ray Marshall going down to the ground, diving for a loose ball during that game. I thought that really kind of symbolized what the Rattlers' effort was all about there in the Heartland Conference final.
Yeah, and some of the boys off the bench, DJ Castro, Brad Hubnack, Keith Hardo, and Joe Monroe also putting their stamp on the Heartland Conference tournament win. Well, with that victory, now they are on route to the NCAA
Quite literally.
tournament. Yeah, literally. We're holding up their bus.
Yeah, we are. It'll be the 8th-seeded St. Mary's Rattlers against top-seeded Midwestern State up at their building Saturday at 6 p.m.
It's a tall task, Rattler fans, because the Midwestern State team, they won their Lone Star Conference. That's the same conference UIW, our crosstown rival, plays in. 25-3 are these Midwestern State players. They are 14-0 on their home court, and the game is taking place on their home court. So a daunting task for the Rattlers.
But as someone pointed out, it's all about matchups. You
Yeah.
know, that Midwestern State team has been beaten by Tarleton State this year.
Yeah.
Tarleton State was beaten by UIW. We swept UIW. So you never know any given day, and these guys have the right mentality to make it happen any given night.
These Rattlers on a roll. I want to tell you, they are 7 of 8 in their last, or 8 of 9. I mean, they're on a roll. They've only dropped one, and got to.
It was in overtime.
Yeah,
and in overtime with Moses Sandufu banking in the game-tying shot to send it to double OT, but it was waved off by the officials.
It was a technicality in fractions of a second, and they could be on a 9-game win streak. But nonetheless, they were able to avenge that loss. That loss on February the 18th. My birthday. Shout out to Robin Johnson holding the camera, her birthday right now. But they lost on February the 18th, and they avenged their loss against Fort Smith in the final, and what a way to avenge it.
Yeah, and Fort Smith came in as a shooting team. They tried the zone on the Rattlers, and the Rattlers answered defiantly by hitting those three-point shots that killed the zone defense. They tried the full-court press. It had a little bit of success, and then it ended up in wide-open layups for Lam Autry and a wide-open dunk for Kevin Kotzer. So really, any and everything the Lions tried, the Rattlers had an answer for.
So we look back at the tournament that was, and it featured some tremendous performances. Tournament MVP Kevin Kotzer, first-teamer Moses Sandufu, and then the guys who should have been on, Lam Autry, DT. But now we look ahead, and I asked you this question on last week's Talkin Rattlers. I'll ask you this one again. Excluding our tournament MVP, give me a Rattler who you think is going to have to have a big game to advance in this tournament.
I don't know if I can give you one. I think it's the shooters in general.
Okay.
I think the three guys that hit those three-point shots last week, Lam Autry, Moses Sandufu, and Daryl Taylor, I think you're going to see some zone defense by Midwestern.
Yeah.
And if the three-point shot falls, that's going to be the zone buster. And I think that, with those three, in addition to Kevin Kotzer and Ray Marshall, of course, eating it up inside as well. But I think that the three-point shot could be huge this weekend.
Yeah. I'm going to go a little bit unconventional. I'm going to give you the big men. Kevin, Ray, Brad, Joe Monroe. They're going to need to have some big games. It's going to be, I think it's going to be the small things that are going to help us win. Rebounding, boxing out, hitting the deck, literally, to advance in this tournament. It's a tall task. It's 8 against 1, and not that it's never been done. It could happen, absolutely. And this Rattler team, especially because they are rolling, they have a great chance right now to pull a huge upset.
And the Rattlers, of course, the 1989 NAIA national champions. They know what it takes to win a national championship. This is the 5th time St. Mary's has been in the national tournament as an NCAA member. So the Rattlers trying to now become the first time to win an NCAA tournament game in the school's history. And this group, I think, is primed to do it. Indeed.
I mean, this is a special group. And I think we talked about that all season long. We talked about that. I remember a story. We came out here during training camp before their season, and when you and I came out here, we took a look at the guys practicing. You pulled me aside and told me, hey, look at that dude with the 15 jersey. You said this guy's a defender, but look, he dribbles well, he shoots, and I think they were doing a three-man weave type of thing. Yeah. And you're like, look at this, keep your eye on him, and well, that's the first teamer, Moses Sandufu.
Yeah, and Moses, last weekend I thought he really flashed too that athleticism.
Yeah.
He drove to the basket several times, and I don't know if Fort Smith expected it. I know the TAMU broadcasting team did not expect it. They were quite underselling Moses Ndufu's value to the team this season to the point where it seemed like they were shocked he could play at all.
Yeah.
And you saw, I mean, that's just what he's able to do. And it brings an extra dimension to this team, especially with the shooters they have outside.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him and his junior college teammate Darryl Taylor's defense during that tournament. The 2 games, not only, of course, we know what they can do from long range and sharp shoot, but they did a great job defending, locking down their defenders. Did a great job on that part too. And it's all the little things crucial to get the Rattlers past here in this tournament.
Most definitely, most definitely.
All right, so Rattler fans, we're going to wrap it up quick because these guys are anxious to go. I think they're more anxious than I think we are, which we'll be joining up there as well in Wichita Falls, and you can join us up there as well, rattlerathletics.com. We're going to have the game for you on audio. That's rattlerathletics.com right here on the same Ustream page you're watching Talkin Rattlers on.
And a few media highlights, David. Yeah. Kevin Kotzer featured in today's Express News, so look at this Thursday edition of the San Antonio Express News. Moses Ndufu will be featured on KAB Fox 29 locally here next week. Be on the lookout for that. And also the game story from Saturday night's game. Hopefully a big win for the Rattlers.
For all of that, Rattler fans, remember, like us on Facebook, bottom of the page, facebook.com/St. Mary's Rattlers. Follow us on Twitter. Twitter's going to be huge this weekend for us. It was blowing up last weekend at St. Mary's Rattlers. And, of course, for all the latest happenings, rattlerathletics.com. We'll wrap this up quickly. We're going to see you next Tuesday with some good news. Talkin Rattlers, where the banter is now in championship season. Thank you for joining us.